me earlier in this conversation, we don't want to do business with jerks.
Who does?
Right.
The Model X is now over 2 years late. What went wrong?
Well, I do have an issue with punctuality, I have to admit. Here we are on top of our giant bowl of liquid oxygen. They say SpaceX has big balls, and it's true.
Hi, my name is Rahul Sanad from Los Angeles, and I have a Tesla watch. You know, so we do not make Tesla watches, I should point out. It's electric. But I mean,
it's more dangerous to patent than not to patent.
Since our primary competitors are national governments, the enforceability of patents is questionable. When people have tried to make a reusable system, they found that they would get some portion of the way and then conclude that success was not one of the possible outcomes. In government programs, of course, that the program would still continue for quite some time.
Your parts service model, if you're talking about the scale that you're discussing here, needs to clearly evolve, right? In order to meet all of this demand for parts and service. What are you going to do there?
Well, I guess we're going to hire a lot of people in service and get lots of parts.
Can you give me any kind of a hint what this is that's coming this year?
Well, I mean, I'd be making it up as I go along, which is not unusual for me.
Thanks for the introduction.
Finally, you're obviously a very competitive person. You're competing with the likes of Jeff Bezos in...
Jeff who? There will not be a steering wheel. In 20 years, it will be like having a horse. The analogy I use with my team is like, guys, imagine we had, $6 million in a pallet of cash, and that was, $6 million is falling through the sky, and would we try to catch it? I say we do. I say we give it a shot. Worst case, it ends up at the bottom of the ocean, but maybe we do catch it and then pay $6 million.
Let me know when that pallet of cash is coming back.
Yeah.
I'd like to give it a shot, too.
It might as well be a pallet of cash.
Does that speed it up, or?
That's the slowed down version. First generation was parachutes to a water landing, then, arguably sort of wings and gear, landing legs, landing gear. Then like the sort of third generation is propulsive landing with precision. If you saw a movie about the future with aliens landing, how do they land? Like that. Okay, obviously, they don't it'd be kind of weird if the aliens landed in the ocean with parachutes. Like, okay, nothing to fear. Well, I think any natural resource extraction on Mars would be, the output would be for Mars. It definitely wouldn't make sense to transport stuff 200 million miles back to Earth. Honestly, if you had crack cocaine on Mars, in pre-packaged, pallets, it still wouldn't make sense to transport it back here. Maybe good times for the Martians, but not back here. With artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. You know all those stories where there's the guy with the pentagram and the holy water, and he's like, yeah, he's sure he can control the demon. Didn't work out. And often I'll be told, but you could get more payload if you made it expendable. I say, yes, you could also get more payload from an aircraft if you got rid of the landing gear and the flaps and just parachute it out when you got to your destination. But that would be crazy, and you would sell 0 aircraft. Man, I tell you, I'm pretty sure I'd know, if there were aliens. I have not seen any sign of aliens. So they're like, well, is the military hiding aliens in Area 51 or something, That's a popular meme. Well, let me tell you, the fastest way to increase defense funding would be to bring out, hey, we found an alien. People are like, more money for defense, definitely. This is guaranteed. They would be on display in 2 seconds.
Thanks, Elon. And I don't believe you about the aliens.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope they're well, if they are here, I hope they're nice. They haven't killed us yet, so they must be not that bad. So you have no wires poking out of your head. Very, very important.
So it's basically Bluetooth to your phone. Because we'll have to watch the App Store updates for that one. Make sure we don't have a driver issue. We have made, Monkey has been able to control the computer with its brain. Just, FYI.
I didn't realize we were running that result today, but there it goes.
Anyone who, for the early people that go to Mars, it'll be far more dangerous. I mean, really, it kind of reads like Shackleton's ad for Antarctic explorers. It's like difficult, dangerous, good chance you'll die. Excitement for those who survive.
The system is fully capable of carrying biological cargo, which is, people. Well, I think we'll probably have a mode that goes beyond Mad Max mode to LA traffic mode. Yeah. Well, Mad Max would have a hard time in LA traffic, I think. You could power the entire United States with about, let's say, 150 to 200 square kilometers of solar panels. The entire United States. Take a corner of Utah. Not much going on there. I've been there. We do hire some MBAs, but it's usually in spite of the MBA, not because of it. We just have a genetic lifespan. It's kind of like say if you take like a fruit fly and you gave it the best exercise and diet possible and like the perfect life, it's still, maybe it'll live like 4 weeks instead of 3 weeks.
The follow-up question would be, how can you manage so many things simultaneously? 3 companies.
Well, I don't recommend this. I really, it's not good for quality of life.
Now, what about government policies? Like, one of the things that I would like to do is I would just like to keep working on my email as I'm driving to work.
Sure.
There's a 30,
some people do that already.
Like I said, I would like to do it without breaking the law.
Ah, yes. Okay.
That picture at the end is a picture of one of the circuit boards inside the Roadster, right?
We try to confuse the aliens as much as possible. There are a few things I'd recommend, which is keep laws short. Long laws, it's like that's something suspicious is going on if there's a long law. If the size of the law exceeds the word count of Lord of the Rings, something's
how it is to be successfully growing a small business to a large business.
Okay, well, I mean, to be frank, I don't think there's it's intrinsically good to grow a small business to a large business. Sometimes a small business should be a small business. Sometimes businesses shouldn't exist. Sure, it's true.
Yeah, there's some joke about if reality was a video game, it's sort of like the graphics are great. The plot's terrible. Yeah. And the spawn time's really long. In order for a production to grow, we have to have the whole supply chain move in cadence. Because there are several thousand unique parts in the car. And even if some of those parts, even if just a few of them are missing, then we can't raise production, because then people are missing parts of their car and they get very upset about that. It's a car that is designed for you to have the most fun. We keep putting gems on it, like the Fart app, of course. That's one of my favorites. It's like perhaps my finest work.
That's what the free market. I don't mean to have it in black and white. It's like it's not so long ago. They didn't even have color cameras back then. It was 2010. It's really just the cost of building the tunnels. But really, a tunnel's a hole in the ground. Like, how hard can it really be? I mean, just...
That's super fucking hard.
There's a video.
So why is that important? Why has this moment been important for you?
Well, so in order to reuse the boost stage, which is about 70% of the cost of the rocket, so
which cost is that? How much is that?
Well, I mean, it's sort of on the order of $30 to $35 million.
Right. So you want to save that?
Yeah. I mean, it's like I tell my team, it's like, imagine there was a pallet of cash, that was plummeting through the atmosphere, and it was going to burn up and smash into tiny pieces, would you try to save it?
Right.
Probably yes.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Right, okay.
Whoever's like, when they're like first launched like a 747 or DC-3 or something like that, I bet the chief engineer was like, I can't believe that thing's flying.
2013 is when we first started doing vertical takeoff and landing tests, and then 2014 is when we were able to have the first orbital booster do a soft landing in the ocean. The landing was soft, it fell over and exploded, but landing for 7 seconds, it was good. In terms of production, the thing that's going to be the major challenge for us over the next 6 to 9 months is how do we build a huge number of cars. And frankly, we're going to be in production hell. Welcome. Welcome to production hell.
What would have happened if the fourth one hadn't worked? We would have failed. Yeah.
But let's talk about one of the failures were spectacular. I would go out to the island, Kwajalein with Elon, and seeing giant exploding rockets is quite an amazing sight. And I was one of the early investors in SpaceX, and I said, you know what? If all I get to do is to see these rockets explode, well worth every dime I put into this company.
There's something to be said about brotherly support.
We want that to feel like a work of art. Like if you open up the door, it should just be this amazing experience. I mean, this may sound a bit silly, but it should just be like, ah. And it holds 1,200 tons of liquid oxygen. So we tested it. So we successfully tested it up to its design pressure. And then went a little further. The issue with existing batteries is that they suck, okay? They're really horrible. I always used to say, well, I think the car is really safe unless you drive it off a cliff, and then somebody drove it off a cliff. Fine.
Hi, I'm Eric Ward. I'm a graduate student in the Systems Design and Management program. And I was reading recently a Japanese construction company, I think it's Obayashi, just announced plans to make a space elevator by, I think, 2050. And I'm wondering if SpaceX has a response.
I say, bravo.
If you buy a gasoline car that's not full self-driving, this is like riding a horse and using a flip phone. I'm like, hello. This is not wise.
Has the sweetest smile. My little buttercup, won't you stay a while? Won't you stay a while? Moonbeams meet the sky, and you and I will walk the by on by. Well, this is really winning.